to condemn this act and call for the immediate release of this minister in the Temple of Justice.
Give us access to our money we put in the bank.
POS operator, she said 3,000 is 1,000 to collect 3,000 naira. Where are we heading to?
I've always said there are two sets of people on earth, the oppressors and the...
Good morning and welcome to Open Air on Atlantic Television Network. Open Air is the network's flagship political platform through which trending political news, events and stories are discussed with stakeholders. Through these conversations, ATN uses political talks about specific issues, party system and actor to explore hope and engender positive impacts to the society. Today on Open Air, we look at these stories. First, Rivers State. Court restrains INEC from releasing voters' register to RISIEC. And on Edo State, Shaibu dumps PDP, returns to APC. On Edo Guba, Ganduje vows to reclaim state for APC. And on Enugu State, Mba calls for Simon Ekpa's repatriation. On State Congress, PDP seeks peace amid crisis in Rivers. Orders. Nationwide protest, presidency warns mastermind. On nationwide protest, presidency planning to arrest P2B, media office cries out. And still on nationwide protest, 15 demands. Do not go away. When I come back from this break, we'll delve right into the show.
Corruption not in my country.
I don't get a lot. Boy, they won't booga me small. They say, man, give them bribe. I say, nothing. Okay, now, we'll go block later. You remember that contract we will do that time now? They don't pay.
But first, you see the house rent with the old things. We go first call caretaker, take the money, slap him.
Beg, see, you know, say I get annual levy why they pay for club. Where me and boys they shark beer in our house, I could pay that one. You remember say me and tell you I go buy you motor. I go buy now.
Okay, they pay you money now. We don't they beg caretaker? We would they beg landlord, old man, and they agree give us time. Money can't come now. You won't divert time. You said na corruption. Corruption, not in my house and not in my country.
Sure?
Sure.
Corruption not in my country.
This message is brought to you by the Akinfade Foundation, the MacArthur Foundation,
and with broadcast support from Atlantic Television Network.
Corruption not in my country.
Kasali, I hope so my car don't ready. I get interview in 30 minutes.
Okay, you not ready. I just the last minute instruction where you give me yesterday. Now in the cause more delay.
Which instruction?
Maybe now you say make I change the meter, make you no read again.
Which time I make you change meter? Oh, Kasali, why you do like this now? You don't get sense. You don't read the text message. Nobody I want to send them to. Like Kasali, my electrician, make it come house, call me, do my meter so that you don't go to read again. You're the electrician.
You're electrician.
Yes, now.
So you call Kasali electrician, make it come help you adjust your meter, make it for no read again, Abi. So you said you want join people where be say they no want they pay NEPA bill again, Abi. Oga, you know good now. You don't use you know they behave like all these stiff people.
Oh, what you change from your motor? What you change from?
Full light. Fuel gauge. Speedometer.
For what you know, you for come out for home my motor. I better identify for me.
Okay. Now don't do something we corrupt. Do something come backfire. Now go come they find how to dodge them.
What you talk?
They greet you.
Corruption not in my
This
country.
message is brought to you by the Akinfade Foundation, the MacArthur Foundation,
And with broadcast support from Atlantic Television Network.
Corruption not in my country.
What you want to buy?
Potato.
Small basket. I want plantain. But why your plantain can't hard like this?
Madam, now the outside hard. Inside there, it is very soft.
Madam, wallahi make her no buy them. Make her show you something. What? What in this one? Madam, this one now the chemical what they put on for the plantain make her ripe up.
So you dey put chemical for plantain where people go chop?
Now water, no be chemical.
Water. You know say Pela I don't talk and say water and not be enemy. Drink am.
Where you collect that water, drink am.
I just stop finish. See my belly. After it don't big. I just stop drink water finish.
Wait, you drink am now. And they sell am plantain, I go come put am for chemical because I want to make a ripe go. That's why I talk now corruption. Corruption. Not be for this kaswa, come not be for this country. Now me take am.
Corruption not in my country.
This message is brought to you by the Akinfade Foundation, the MacArthur Foundation,
and with broadcast support from Atlantic Television Network.
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are under siege.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act and call for the immediate release of this minister in the Temple of Justice.
Give us access to our money.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Joining me on Open Air this morning is George Chinda, a political analyst. Good morning, George, and welcome to Open Air. And also joining me on Open Air is Zoe Solomon Tamunotoye. Zoe is a lecturer and development expert. He is also the national president, Rivers Emancipation Movement. Good morning, Zoe.
Thank you very much, Choma. It's always my pleasure. Good morning, Nigerians.
And on to the story. Justice Peter Lifu of a federal high court in Abuja on Friday restrained Independent National Electoral Commission from releasing the National Voters Register to the Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission for use in the planned local government election in the state. Justice Lifu made the order while delivering a ruling in a motion ex parte brought before him by the All Progressive Congress. The motion ex parte was filed on behalf of the APC by a team of lawyers comprising Joseph Daudu, Sebastian, and Ogu James Onoja, all senior advocates of Nigeria. While the APC is the sole plaintiff, INEC, Rivers SIEC, Rivers Attorney General, Inspector General of Police, and the Department of State Services are first to fifth respondents respectively. In a supporting affidavit attached to the ex parte application, the APC claimed that the register of voters, which INEC intends to release to support Rivers SIEC for use in the conduct of planned election, is in breach and violations of the provisions of the 1999 Constitution and the Electoral Act 2022. According to the applicants, INEC cannot release the National Voters Register to SIEC because the National Electoral Body has failed to comply strictly with the provisions of the Electoral Act 2022 in respect of the management of the Register of Voters, which it intends to release to the second defendant for use in the conduct of the said election. The acting chairman of the Rivers APC Caretaker Committee, Chief Tony Okocha, said that it is the Register of Voters compiled, maintained and updated and kept in the custody of the first defendant that the second defendant obtains and uses to conduct local government elections in Rivers State as the second defendant is not statutorily entitled to compile, maintain, update and keep in its custody any separate register of voters for the conduct of local government elections. Zoe, what is your take on this development?
Well, it's funny what is playing out from the court as far as the Rivers State crisis issues are concerned, political development in Rivers State are concerned. If you observe yesterday, I did an open letter drawing the attention of the Chief Justice of the Federation. I'm pleading with him not to allow the Nigerian judiciary to draft to a point where it will lead to anarchy. You see, this is also the problem of what we are talking about, Choma, on this station. We have continued to talk about our democracy breeding strong men instead of strong institutions. And as a result of the weakness of the institution, these strong men take advantage. And because the institution like the courts are weak, you can imagine the kind of judgment that keeps coming out from the courts as it relates to Rivers State's political development. So for Tony Okocha, I thought a few months back they were clamoring how they will win the election, how they are on ground. They were the people insisting that the government of the day should go ahead and conduct local government elections. They are the people who are against the constitution of a caretaker committee to run the local government affairs. Now there is an opportunity for election to take place. They have started bringing bottlenecks. They have started introducing going to court to stop the election. What does Tony Okocha and his court in this mission intend to achieve if the political crisis in the state continue in this direction as a result of the lack of conduct of an election in the state? These are the issues, but I will call on the judiciary. They have the moral and sacrosanct duty to, protect and defend the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. At the same time, create stability in the political system. If the court continue to give orders like this that will stop a constitutional process, then we may be leading to anarchy. And this is what we want to avoid in Rivers State. These are the issues. What does Tony Okocha stand to benefit by going to court to stop this all-time election that Rivers people are expecting? So this is where we are, and it's unfortunate that where we are at this point, trying to stop the election that we wanted to be held few months back. So these are the problems.
All right. What is your take on this matter, George?
Well, what I have to say here is that this is democracy, and in democracy, we have three arms of government. The judiciary is there to interpret the law. So if someone feels aggrieved and decides to run to the judiciary to interpret a certain section, I don't think there's anything bad in it. I don't want to be emotional about this by pointing accusing fingers. Some of those things enriches our jurisprudence. It enriches our democracy, because some of these laws, as at the time they were written, they never envisaged some of the challenges that we are seeing today. So it is for the judiciary to interpret if actually what the SEC is seeking for, that is the voter register, is legal. If it is not legal, then the law should take its course. That's my position in the matter.
What?
So I am not blaming Tony Okocha, Sir Tony Okocha, for going to the court. No. Let him go to the court and let the judiciary interpret. If it is in accordance with our law, so be it. The issue of trying to point the accusing finger, what does Tony Okocha stand to gain and things like that, for me it is neither here nor there. It is to enrich our democracy. Let the law interpret. In as much as I agree that the Nigerian society has affected all facets, all kinds of human beings are affected by the Nigerian society. Sometimes you see people go, do things that are not supposed to be done. But the judiciary remains the people saddled with the responsibility to interpreting the laws. So let them do what is right. As an ex parte order, I'm sure the people who are petitioned will also, look into the matter and see how they can vacate it.
It expires after 7 days. Ex parte order expires after 7 days. Yes.
The law is the law. That is what I have to say.
So after that, they can now file for the substantive matter. Probably, they may, after the expiration of the ex parte order, is to give room for proper applications and filings to be done and all that.
My position still remains that the law remains the law. Let the people who are saddled with the responsibility of interpreting the law do the right thing,
so
that the Nigerian democracy will continue to grow.
All right. Now, very quickly, if you recall, sometime last week or thereabout, Tony Okocha came out to speak up about the recent RISEC meeting. RISEC called the political parties to intimate them of the upcoming local government polls. And Tony Okocha said that his party was not invited. He was not invited to the meeting. There was no APC representation in that meeting. And he showed, he was concerned about the ability of RISEC, as it were, to conduct a credible election, seeing that, according to him, from get-go, they have shown that sidelining APC in that very important meeting, he tried to interpret their body language, and he was not comfortable with Risiek, and he spoke out. Can you link that particular action to this move by Tony Okocha?
It is obvious. We don't need to begin to deny the obvious here. For him not to be invited, it means that the APC and Rivers State has been excluded. And being someone who has held such an important position as Chief of Staff, if you listen to some of the confessions in media, which for me was not necessary, you will understand how politics, how elections are being won, especially local elections. So for him to be excluded, what that means is that they do not even want or expect them to participate. Because this is a meeting calling for political parties, to come together and, forge a common front on how the election can go peacefully and all of that. And one party, an important party as the APC in this state, was excluded. So I think that would be the reason why the man has gone to court for interpretation of the law. It's obvious that probably they don't want the APC to partake. If you follow the politics in this state, you understand that the APC in the River State is becoming formidable, given the party coming together to resolve their intractable crisis they had over the years. So it appears that the party...
APC is factionalized at its way. APC River State is factionalized, and even in court.
As of today?
Yes, and even in courts.
But would that stop them from partaking in the election?
I don't think that should stop them from partaking in the election.
The national body of the APC recognizes Tony Okocha as the caretaker.
And Emeka Beke is in court challenging that.
Until the matter is determined, the party still stands.
All right, we'll go on a short break. When we come back, we'll continue with the show. Do not go away.
She said 3,000 naira is 1,000 to collect 3,000 naira. Where are we heading to?
I've always said there are two sets of people on earth. The oppressors and the oppressed. And in between are the cowards and the hypocrites. Which are you?
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians need now is not about the done thing. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on-spot news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
We just dey vote for government, but we not get good governance.
At all.
Roads no dey. Light usa. The infrastructure e come turn to be forbidden fruit for the city.
Corruption, well everything. Hello?
Hello, madam. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Mrs. Ayeni. I am calling from the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs.
Okay. Okay, I've been expecting your call.
Madam, remove this your phone from loudspeaker.
No, now my phone be like that. Hello?
Are you there?
I hear, I'm hearing you.
Yes. We saw a copy of your invoice for computers, printers, and laptops.
Yes. Are you working on them now?
Ma, the prices you quoted are way too high now.
Madam, sorry, please don't cost.
We found the laptop you said is 1.8 million naira for 600,000 naira.
Hello?
Now my body network there.
I can't hear you. Network is bad.
Madam, we can hear you. Continue.
Hello, I can't hear you. We call you back.
Their behavior not good now.
Madam, now this kind behavior they kill our country. You suppose do things differently, make Nigeria for better.
Corruption not in my country.
This message is brought to you by the Akinfade Foundation, the MacArthur Foundation,
and with broadcast support from Atlantic Television Network.
Corruption not in my country.
I don't get a lot. Boy, they won't buga me small. They say, man, give them bribe. I say, nothing. Okay, now, we'll go block later. You remember that contract we will do that time now? They don't pay.
But first, you see the house rent with the old things. We go first call caretaker, take the money, slap him.
Beg, see, you know, say I get annual levy why they pay for club. Where me and boys they shark beer in our house, I go pay that one. You remember say me and tell you I go buy you motor. I go buy now.
Okay, they pay you money now. We don't they beg caretaker? We would they beg landlord, old man, and they agree give us time. Money can't come now. You won't divert time. You said na corruption. Corruption, not in my house and not in my country.
Sure?
Sure.
Corruption not in my country.
This message is brought to you by the Akinfade Foundation, the MacArthur Foundation,
and with broadcast support from Atlantic Television Network.
Corruption not in my country.
Kasali, I hope so my car don't ready. I get interview in 30 minutes.
Okay, you don't ready. I just the last minute instruction where you give me yesterday. Now in the cause more delay.
Which instruction?
Maybe now you say make I change the meter, make you no read again.
Which time I make you change meter? Oh, Kasali, why you do like this now? You don't get sense. You don't read the text message. Nobody I want send them to. Like Kasali, my electrician, make you come house, call me do my meter so that you don't go to read again. You the electrician?
Your electrician?
Yes, now.
So you call Kasali electrician, make you come help you adjust your meter, make it for no read again, Abi. So you said you want join people where be say they no want they pay NEPA bill again, Abi. Oga, you know good now. You don't use you don't behave like all these stiff people.
Oh, what you change from your motor? What you change from?
Full light. Fuel gauge. Speedometer.
For what you know, you for come out for home my motor. I better identify for me.
Okay. Now don't do something we corrupt. And something come backfire. Now go come they find how to dodge them.
What you talk?
They greet you.
Corruption not in my
This
country.
message is brought to you by the Akinfade Foundation, the MacArthur Foundation,
and with broadcast support from Atlantic Television Network.
Corruption not in my country.
What do you want to buy?
Potato. Small basket.
I want plantain. But why your plantain can't hard like this?
Madam, now the outside hard. Inside there, it is very soft.
Madam, wallahi make her no buy. Make her show you something. What? What in this one? Madam, this one now the chemical where they put on for the plantain make her ripe up.
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are under siege.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act and call for the immediate release of this minister in the Temple of Justice.
Everyone access to our money we put in the bank.
POS operator. She said 3,000 naira is 1,000 to collect 3,000 naira. Where are we heading to?
I've always said there are two sets of people on earth, the oppressors and the oppressed, and in between are the cowards.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Before we went on a break, we were discussing court restraining INEC from releasing voters' register to RISEC. Zoe, you have something to say to that?
Yes, I want to respond and clarify some of the issues my colleague here have raised. In talking about attending to the what, why, and how of issues like this, there is nothing emotional and sentimental. Don't forget, for clarity, it's not that Tony Okocha was, was not invited. RISEC invitation was made public. There was a public announcement inviting stakeholders, all critical stakeholders, including political parties, to attend. That invitation went viral and it was in the media for over a week before that meeting. Tony Okocha, in his own wisdom, decided to abscond, not to attend such meeting. In fact, if he had good intention, and that's why intention matters here, it is not enough that we want to build democracy and any little thing we run to the court to stop a democratic process. No, we should rather be involved. And Choma, if you remember, I called all critical stakeholders to be involved. Tony Okocha would have made himself available by virtue of that public announcement and invitation and express his concern as regard to the election makes this demand, and if they are not allowed, if he was not listened to, then he can take the process of going to the court. But for now, at one hand, he's saying that APC will not be involved in the election. At another hand, he's saying that APC was not given a due place, was not invited officially. And on the other hand, he's in the court. So what are the intentions? That is what I'm asking. What does it stand to benefit in stopping the process of the election?
Now, Zoe, interestingly, if you recall, the last time when this story broke about Tony Okocha speaking about not being invited, his party not being invited to the RISEC meeting, you recall you were a guest on the show.
Yes, I was.
And you discussed it with another party man who was from the PDP, if you recall. And it was made clear that parties were extended invitation to that meeting. Because initially that was your stance, what you just said now, that there was a public announcement. And the party man told you that INEC extended invitations individually to political parties. The question would be, why didn't APC get that invitation?
Choma, I don't know about that, whether INEC, RISEC extended individual invitation to parties. I'm not aware of, I'm not aware of that.
Now you don't remember?
Yes, I'm not, no, and it's not that I don't remember. I said I'm not aware. I don't see, because I attended that meeting, so I didn't see such invitation. But I know that it was wild broadcast. It was announced. There was a public announcement inviting critical stakeholders to attend this RISEC meeting.
Did you attend as a party man, or you attended?
No, I didn't. Yes, I didn't attend as a party man.
Very well. I want to clarify something on this matter. APC is a duly registered party in Nigeria, just like other political parties. RISEC cannot be, we don't want to invite them and decide to write, do a public announcement. You should write officially to these parties, recognizing those who are the leaders of the party or the party chairman, inviting them. What if the party did not see it?
You're making this suggestion. This suggestion can be made to the RISEC because they have their procedures. They have their procedure. They have their administrative procedures. Such as what they have done. If the information was not given, there was no public announcement, I will understand with the position of APC.
Hold on. Are you saying that a body like RISEC would hold a meeting with regards to local government polls, and the direct participants of that polls were not extended an invitation?
But all other parties were there.
Hold on, and you're saying that a substituted invitation can serve?
You are calling it a substitution. I don't think so. I don't know that's why I say they have their procedure. But every other party, even the what they call the coalition of association of political parties, that's what I said. I don't know. But if they have gone on the media to make a public announcement and all other stakeholders, it's only APC that is complaining about invitation and attendance of the meeting. So what procedure that invited every other party to attend and they were excluded? As far as the public announcement is concerned, I don't think we should hold RISEC responsible for an invitation issue.
Like I reminded you, Tony Okocha said invitations were extended to parties his party did not receive.
I don't know about that.
You cannot, hold on, you cannot sweep that concern under the carpet, because this is local government elections that will be coming up. Long-awaited council polls. Do you understand? So it will only be fair and just that INEC will be seen to be fair in its procedures.
No, RISEC. Yes, Choma. Let's.
Hold on. When a political party comes out to cry out that invitations were extended to other parties but were not extended to them, that actually should raise concern. And seeing that the political party in question is not a mushroom political party. So when you say that it was the invitation was posted on the media, it was announced in the media, and that should serve, that brings a lot to question.
So, Shama, there is no much question. Remember, Tony Okocha went further in that his press release. He went further to say that he communicated to the RISEC chairman, and the RISEC chairman replied him, saying that APC is a major stakeholder in the state. So what
he communicated, you missed out something. He communicated to the WISEC
chairman
that he heard by proxy.
Yes.
By proxy.
Yeah.
That there was going to be a meeting. And the research chairman confirmed it.
Yes.
Hearing by proxy is not the same thing as...
Choma, you're the one. You're the one considering it to be prosy. Right. Every other political party, just like Tony Okuta said, he got the message in the media.
I am considering it to be proxy.
Okay.
The same Tony Okuta, you appear.
He said in the media. He said he had it in the media. You can go back to the story.
You appear to relegate to the background or to have selective perception of this issue. You're not looking at it holistically, because there seems to be a body language that Tony Okocha is concerned about. Hearing something by proxy when others who are even lesser than you in status received an invitation should raise concerns.
Choma, so if you remember...
No, the question would be, since you know so well about WISEC procedures and how they play, since you know it so well, the question would be, why was an invitation extended to other political parties and APC did not receive invitation?
Choma, I'm not here to speak for WISEC. I'm only looking at the facts that are laid. There was a communication between Tony Okocha and the WISEC chairman. Tony Okocha did not tell us what transpired later. He only told us he had a reply from the WISEC chairman, and that APC in Rivers State is a major stakeholder. So that should tell us that there is a communication between them. However, chairman, remember I said...
If APC was a major stakeholder, how come, according to Tony Okocha, how come Tony Okocha did not receive, APC did not receive...
That's what I'm saying now.
Lesser political parties, in order of standing...
We don't have evidence to that claim. But what I know, we don't have evidence to that claim.
So how then are you laying claim to what Tony Okocha said that you cannot even prove happened?
No. See, Choma, what I said is that there was a public announcement, probably which parties took advantage of. However, I said for us to move forward and to resolve the crisis in Rivers State, especially as it's related to the election, every person should come take responsibility.
You are jumping the fact. You are jumping the fact that other parties, according to Tony Okocha, received invitation. You are saying that there was a public service announcement which other parties took advantage of. You're speaking with a certainty.
Choma, you said Tony Okocha said.
Now, hold on.
WISEC have not responded.
If you're acting based on what Tony Okocha said, why are you not reacting or sweeping the fact that Tony Okocha complained that other parties received invitation and his party did not receive invitation? You are sweeping that under the carpet.
No.
What you're saying is that there was a public service announcement, other parties took advantage of it. But you're not addressing the elephant in the room, which is the fact that other parties received invitation, according to the same Tony Okocha you're quoting, and he did not receive. Like it or not, why I'm looking at this critically is this. After this outcry, now there is a move by the APC to restrain INEC through the court. Like it or not, it's affecting the politics. And pending when elections are done, according to the Supreme Court judgment, local government in Rivers State will not be recognized by the federal government. You see the boomerang effect it has on governance at the end of the day. So when you make defense without looking at the elephants, the issue, when you're not looking at the catalyst that could have caused all these things, I mean, it begs a lot. But then, finally, what do you have to say before we move on to Edo State?
Well, like I said earlier, the matter is before the courts. There's nothing we can say here now to change the fact. Let the court that is having the responsibility of interpreting what the law says do justice to the matter. That is just my position.
All right. Reinstated Deputy Governor of Edo State, Philip Shaibu, on Saturday, officially rejoined the All Progressive Congress from the People's Democratic Party. The Deputy Governor, who returned to the APC in Benin, the state capital, alongside prominent members of the Dan Obi-led legacy group of the PDP, said he was back to add value to the party. He said, on behalf of the legacy group, I announce our movement to the APC. We have come to add value to the party. It is time to take back our state. We will not talk too much about action, but because action will speak for us. We are not afraid. We are ready to move forward. He continued, we, the homeboys, are ready to take our state back through the APC governorship candidate, Monday Obeblo, and his running mate, Dennis Idahosa. We are not troublemakers. But if it comes, we will use it to rub our body and we will move on. Shaibu got to the venue at about 2:08 p.m. and walked straight to where the former governor of the state, Senator Adams Oshomole, was seated and knelt before him, which drew applause from party supporters. Let me start with you, George. What is your take on this development and how do you think it's going to impact the Guba elections in Edo State?
Personally, I think it's a welcome development. As a politician, you align and realign. It's obvious that he's no longer welcomed in the PDP, given what happened. Even though the court has reversed that, but he's no longer loved in the PDP. So the worst thing that can happen to you as a politician is to remain in a place where you're no longer loved. So for now, it is about political survival. So to pitch tent with the APC, I think that will make APC more formidable. They already have Adams Oshomole, the former governor. They have the party, so to speak, which is domiciled in Edo State very strongly. So with the addition of Shuaibu, who is also a homeboy, who is well known, a grassroots politician, I think the APC will be more stronger, to the election. So it will be more problem for
the PDP,
the current governor and his candidates. That is the PDP people. It will be difficult for them. If you look at the support that Shuaibu has garnered, even with the court judgment that was given recently by Justice Omotoso, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So you will understand the organic support that the man commands in the state. So I think that will make the APC more stronger.
All right. Zoe, what is your take on this development? Considering, do not forget, Dan Obi, who was expelled from the party, who was suspended from the party. The announcement was made by the National Working Committee. Do not forget that Dan Obi is the South-South Vice Chairman, PDP. What impact do you think this is going to make at this point?
Well, I'm worried about institutions, Chama. I told you I keep talking about building institution, democratic institution. So I rather look at these individual actions in terms of building our democratic institution. While it is fine for an individual to align and realign for individual political interests, how does this impact on our democratic institutions? I'm talking about democracy, I'm talking about internal democracy here. So once you don't have your way, you don't have get what you want, you move to the other party. In the next round of election, if you don't have your way in APC, you move to PDP. These are challenges that we individuals, and that's why last time, if you remember, I talked about attitudinal change in the politics. This is where individuals, for example, look at, let's take a US for an example, even though as it stands today, they don't stand to be a good example. But however, they've been a long democracy. Look at what is happening. After the primaries in the Republican Party, where there was a serious contest, people were against Donald Trump and the rest of them, they were against each other. But when once a candidate emerged, everybody aligned. A few days ago, on Thursday, when they had their Republican convention where they wanted to nominate, formally declare Donald Trump the candidate of the party. You see Nikki Haley, who was a strong contender. She refused to give up in the primaries to Donald Trump until she saw that there was no way for her. But she was there. So many of them who were contenders were there, and they speak in one voice. They said they are ready to work with the candidate, and they move on. That is how you build democracy. That is how you build internal democracy. The issue of moving from one party to the other is not something I subscribe to if we want to build democratic institution. However, let us not, we should give it to Shaibu for fighting Okay, in fact, the extent of he has regained his office as deputy governor, right?
No, it's been appealed.
Okay, it's been appealed. So it's going to be stay of execution, right? Now, supposing he gains his office back as the deputy governor of the state, and now he's in APC, how is he going to run the government? So these are the issues we should look at. We should be talking about building the institutions, and building the institutions mean we should guide ourselves with the interest of the institution and not just our individual interest, because it's the institution's vision that brought us in, because we believe in the vision of the institution like the political party. So once things don't go our way, we should be patient enough to build and wait for another time rather than moving from one party to the other. It doesn't help our democratic process.
When you talk about building the vision, the question would be, what vision exactly?
That is
being built? Now, if I may ask, what are the ideologies of this political
That
parties?
is, Chairman.
Can you periscope a bit on the ideologies of APC, PDP, Labour Party, as it were?
Chairman, let's not even go there.
No, but we need to,
I mentioned, yes, I mentioned it as what ought to. I mentioned this at what ought to. But if you're talking about ideology, vision, or mission, or whatsoever, all the political party, the vision and ideology are the individuals running the party who have the money to spend, who can direct, who can, that is the problem we're talking about between strong institutions and, a weak institution and strong individuals in our polity.
So now, basically, you just you gave us a classroom theory of what should actually be obtainable in Nigerian democratic system, in Nigerian political ecosystem, correct?
Yes, of course, and we can practice it. It's actually practicable if we want to, and that is why we're talking about that is a problem. That is why
you say we can practice it.
Yeah, we can practice it, and that is why I say attitudinal change, institutional building, and reforming the electoral system so that we have, the laws, so that we have laws that guide individuals and institutions. That's the point I'm making. We can practice them.
All right, when you look at the issues that led to Shuaibu's impeachment and his fallout with Obaseki, you recall that the fallout stemmed from Shuaibu having an ambition to be the governor of the state. Meanwhile, Obaseki, who is the current governor, had his own candidate. And Shuaibu refused to step down on his ambition. If you recall, that was what led to this whole conundrum that PDP is going through. And Shuaibu is making a case that, okay, I helped you, Obaseki, become the governor. I went against my political godfather, as it were, Adams Soshomole, to ensure that you became the governor. I broke out of APC. If you recall, Obaseki sailed into the seat of a governor on the wings of Shuaibu, with Shuaibu's political influence in Edo State. The question would be, if Obaseki has served his term, why not let Shuaibu? Why must governors in Nigerian democratic system foist or hoist their own candidates? Why must it be so?
Choma, it goes back to the problem. I'm not against Shuaibu. I know the stories you have laid out, the issues that led to Shuaibu, and that's why I gave him credit for fighting to this level.
You are also saying that regardless of what has happened, he should stay.
I'm coming now. Let me land. Let me land.
Hold on. George made a very salient point. He said it is clear he is no longer welcome. It is clear he is no longer welcome from the body language and everything.
Choma,
he is no longer welcome. So why would he continue to stay in a system that is fighting him?
It is the same thing that what's his name, Obaseki, the governor, have done. That he is also doing. Two wrongs cannot make a right. Another example again. When they asked Donald Trump, your VP pick, who is it going to be?
Are you aware that American democracy?
Yeah, but we still have to look at something that is attainable, something that is good. They ought to, so that we'll be able to fall in line. When Trump was asked who is going to be your VP pick, he said somebody that can take over the presidency if I'm not there again. That is supposed to be the dream. In fact, when you're going to pick a deputy governor, is automatically that is somebody that you can hand over to. But unfortunately, what we have in Nigeria, governors have refused to allow their deputy governors to take over from them. That is an unfortunate thing, and it's very bad that Obaseki treated Shaibu this way. However, for me, I am concerned about building institutions, and in building institutions, we should be able to also make sacrifices that will require building our institutions so that these things will be stopped, so that we will have a political culture where when people are choosing as vice president, as deputy governors, as vice chairman at the local government, they will also, because definitely they will aspire, just like you want to be governor, the other person too want to be. When it's time for the person, you now disrupt the system, you now make things difficult for the person. These are the issues we are talking about, that we should have an attitudinal change towards our politics so that we have a political culture that is stable for our democracy.
All right, Judge.
Well, to an extent, I want to agree with him on building strong institutions as but then and again, the democracy we practice in Nigeria is peculiar to Nigerian states and Nigerian people. So sometimes when you see it going like this, you don't need to even start arguing why it is going like that, because this is the political culture that has been entrenched over the years. So, like I said, I will repeat that what Shaibu has done is what we call political survival. The man is no longer needed in the PDP. And he has gone back to APC that made him. And now he's declaring war against Obaseki and the candidate of the PDP. Like you rightly said, he wanted to aspire. There's nothing wrong in aspiring.
Yes.
But for whatever reason, like my brother said here, that governors has refused over the years to allow their deputy succeed them.
I don't know what is they are hiding.
They want to force him to stand still to the point of impeaching him. So it's a war between, Obaseki.
It's not personal.
Huh?
It's not personal.
No, the matter has crossed the Rubicon, so it's fine to finish as it is now.
You're right.
Yes, I agree with him totally. But why we say this is the democracy that is peculiar to us, is it good for us? That's another thing we should ask. And if it is not, what are the way forward? And those are the things I am looking at in this discussion.
Fair enough. National Chairman of the All Progressive Congress, Dr. Umar Ganduje, on Saturday inaugurated the National Campaign Council of the party for the 2024 governorship election in Edo State. Inaugurating the council, headed by Governor Basi Otu of Cross River, Ganduje charged the members to ensure the party reclaimed the state from the People's Democratic Party during the September 21 off-cycle election. The national chairman, who was excited with the official defection of the state deputy governor, Philip Shaibu, to the APC, said the party had secured up to 50% of the people in the government of the state. He urged the campaign council to swing into action to ensure that all members at the local government areas and unit levels come out to campaign and vote. He said a flag-off rally will soon be organized so that President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, will be in Benin City. He said the state has to be connected to the center to experience full political participation and dividends of democracy. What is your take on this, Zoe?
Well, you can see it's still the problem we're talking about. Now they are up to grab power. The APC.
50%.
Yeah, that's
they don't have 50% of the voters.
The chairman has just taken the focus of Edo people and Nigerians away from the issues. What I expected the chairman to be telling people, Edo people in that occasion, is what they have done when they were in government, what they can use, even at the federal, what they can use. Those is policy issues. In election, we should be talking about policy issues. But here they are talking about personalities. They're saying that they have taken 50%, is referring to Shaibu, who is the deputy governor of the state. Taking him is taking 50%. Those are not the issue he should be campaigning about. They don't make sense. What should be the issue is what we have done in the past, as when we were having government in the state, and what we have done at the federal, and what we are going to do for you as against what this government is doing. That is what we call opposition. As far as I'm concerned, the APC national chairman have not played the role of an opposition party in his campaign at that place. It's all about grabbing power. As we said, this is our own political culture, but we cannot continue like this. We need to move to what is good for us, and that is, in a political campaign, people should be talking about policy issues and not grabbing people or taking power by force.
All right. Let me, Judge, before you say your your piece. Zui, this particular statement was not made in a political rally where external people, the masses, gathered. This was when Ganduje was inaugurating the National Campaign Council of the party. So it was an internal party activity.
No, whatever the occasion is, it doesn't matter. It should. It is in the public now. This information is in the public. So wherever the chairman, the national chairman of the party is speaking, as it relates to Edo State election, being an opposition party, they should produce an alternative policy that this government is not doing well, and for which reason they want Edo people to vote their party to come into government. That is what should be in focus.
George, what's the take?
I completely disagree with my brother here. Completely disagree. Like you rightly mentioned, I had that in mind before you entered that. That was not a campaign. The man was inaugurating the party structure for the forthcoming election in the districts and has charged them that it is important that we win this election. With Shaibu's coming home, we've been able to, get about 50% of those in government, which is a plus when it comes. This is electioneering campaign season. In electioneering, so many things are permissible. It is when the campaign starts properly that the governorship candidate and his deputy and those in power, or those who are grappling to restore power from the incumbent PDP, will now begin to decide to tell the electorate what this other government have not done, what they are coming with. It is not when someone is inaugurating the people and charging them on how to go about it. For me, I don't think it is wrong. What Ganduje has said there is also a moral booster to his party men, because the primary purpose of political parties is to win election. The primary basic purpose of forming political parties is to win election. If you don't win election, you will not be able to bring to bear those experiences that you feel that will take the country or the state out of the wood. It is when you win election. So first thing first, as it is now, is to grab power. First thing first. So I don't see anything wrong with what Ganduje has done. When the campaign starts properly, people will ask questions. There will be opportunity, for them to present their blueprint to the people. The stakeholders, critical stakeholders, including the ordinary masses, will ask questions on where they want to take the Edo people to. And those people who are contesting for this election, the candidates, will be able to sell whatever ideas they have. But for the party, the primary purpose is to win election. However, they want to go it within the legal means.
Well, I also totally disagree with my colleague here. The primary purpose, yes, to win election. That's the primary purpose of political parties. But it is not to grab power. And whatever occasion it is that Ganduje has spoken, as it relates to the Edo State election, he should be talking about policies. If he has come up to criticize the government in power, the PDP government in power, this is where they have failed in health, this is where they have failed in education, and this is what we are going to do. This is what we are going to do. Based on that, these talks he has raised could have been a side talk. Yes, it's an in-house meeting, could have been a side talk. But whatever it is, coming from the national party chairman, he should be able to bring to the table the policies and the critiques of the existing policies and what they will do. So the primary people is not to grab power, is to bring something before the people that will persuade them, that will influence them to accept and vote for them to be in power and not to grab power by whatever means.
An issue with grabbing power.
Of course, you should know
it is not when you try to hijack ballot box or try to coerce the election management body.
Well, thank you for that explanation. Thank you for that explanation, because Nigerians.
This is political language. Grabbing power does not mean that you do it illegally. Within the legal means, if you win the election, like I said, the primary purpose of the formation of political parties, amongst other things, is to win election. And it is when you win that election, you can bring to bear those things you feel
and that
can change the state for good. Now, coming back to what you were saying, the occasion, that meeting had an agenda. The National Party chairman was not there to campaign for the APC. He was there to inaugurate the campaign council and charge them to ensure that they win this election. That with Shaibu coming home, it has given them that opportunity to have more men from the government. And in politics, it's a game of number. For every one thumb you have, is an additional thing for you. So when you have those that command, legions, of voters is a plus for you. So the man is happy that Shaibu has come back home, and he has tried them to work, to ensure that they win the election, which is the first thing first. Talking about what you can bring to table. When the electioneering start fully, the campaign, they start moving from one local council to the other. The governorship candidate, his deputy, and even the national party chairman can begin to discuss issues that Obaseki has not done well, that is the PDP government in the state, areas where they have not done well, and how the APC can remedy those things. But for now, I don't see anything wrong with that. Even in the US, that will call the bastion of democracy, things like this happen. First thing first is to win the election. However you want to go within the legal means, it's okay, it's permissible.
Let's also not forget that winning that election as a primary thing is also dependent on something. And that is the ideology of the party. That is the manifesto of the party. So in a gathering, whatever it is, I'm still saying, whatever the gathering is, where the leadership of the party is not talking about manifesto, but that having half of the party, the people, yes, those things can be discussed. I'm not saying those things should not be discussed, but they shouldn't be the cardinal, they shouldn't be the focus. The focus should be even the national chairman. In fact, he is even in the right position.
Are you saying they should be talking about their own party manifesto to his party?
Yeah, of course, those things should be, of course, that should be discussed among themselves first before it can come to the public.
They have discussed that among themselves. They already have that manifesto.
Now, this discussion is in the public. The public may not be interested. The public may not.
The campaign council.
Yeah, but there are those people I don't think will be interested in this information of whether they've gotten 50% of the government on their side.
So that is political language, my brother.
I agree with you. I agree with you to the extent that it's political language. But I'm also saying, like I said, we should begin to move forward and do things newly. He should also talk about the manifesto and what they can do for Edo people. That can be discussed in their midst.
My position here is not, against what you have talked about.
Okay.
I'm not against that. Okay. Like I said, when the electioneering starts properly, when they start moving from point A to point B, discussing politics, telling the people they need why they need to vote to them, that is where these men can begin to reel out all those things in their manifestos. We cannot be having a private meeting where we are setting up a campaign council, charging them to go ahead and win the election. Now begin to read that manifesto that they already have to them. I mean, it doesn't make any meaning. It is when they come for those their normal election debate and things like that, then if the APC candidate is unable to convince the people why they should vote for him, then that is a problem for him. But for now, I cannot blame Ganduje for charging the campaign council to ensure that they win the election. And by also telling them, by giving them hope that they have already secured about 50% of the top government functionary. This is political language that will resonate with the voters. If we can have Chaibu, this and that, it's possible we win the election. I'm talking about his party members. So it's political language, there's nothing wrong with that. That's my position.
All right. Governor of Enugu State, Dr. Peter Mba, has alleged that Biafra activist Simon Ekpa is a murderer, scammer, and common criminal, feeding fat on the emotions and sufferings of the Igbos. He enjoined the people of the Southeast region to disregard his threats and sit-at-home orders. Mba also expressed displeasure over Ekpa's continued harboring by the government of Finland, even when many lives and properties had been wasted by his foot soldiers. The governor spoke at the weekend when he received members of the House of Representatives Committee on National Security and Intelligence, who were on an oversight working visit to the state, where they also inspected the construction of the Department of State Services Training Institute at Agu. He said the import of security underscored his administration's decision to end illegal sit-at-home hitherto enforced by non-state actors that held the people hostage, both psychologically and economically, noting, however, that his government was not leaving anything to chance. Mba assured the people of Enugu State of their continued protection, saying the state could not be intimidated by criminals. He urged the House of Representatives to take up the challenge of ensuring Ekpa's repatriation to Nigeria to answer his acts of murder and terrorism in the Southeast region. He said, as you may have also noticed recently, they have continued to make attempts, particularly that megalomaniac who ironically resides with his family peacefully in Finland, a country where the rule of law reigns, but he encourages the rule of anarchy here and to goad some of our youths to their self-destruction. This is also a business for him, pretending to be fighting for Igbo's interest, but does not know anything about the Igbo or have their interest at heart. He continued to say, he creates some kind of siege atmosphere and thrives on it to make a living, continuing to extort and exploit our people, who may not be aware, and telling them that he is fighting for their interest. He's just a common criminal. We are talking about a murderer who thinks about how to inflict terrorism on the people. Otherwise, how can you claim you love your people, a people that are known for hard work in their DNA, and sit somewhere to dictate to them when to go to work and when not to go to work? So I want to also take this opportunity to call on our people to disregard this threat. We have demonstrated our capacity to provide security for our people, and we will continue to do so through the help of our security agencies. Zoe, what is your take on this?
Well, the governor is either looking for attention or he does not understand the situation with regards to the Southeast issues. Playing to the gallery by calling out Ekpa names and characterizing me as a terrorist doesn't make sense at this point in time. After all, the politicians have created a platform and circumstances that have led some of these young people to go the direction they are today. And if you want to solve problem, okay, any person at this point in time who comes out to say he's fighting for the Igbos should be given some level of, I'm not saying legitimacy if it is violent, because the state does not allow violence. But if he has a voice and is making a point, is raising issues in the cause of his violence, I think the leaders, especially public office holders in the Southeast, should be able to listen to these people. The path he has taken will only aggravate the issues, because there are so many of the Igbos that believe in the cause of these people, because the state has failed them, because their governments in their own states have failed them, because their political leaders have failed them, and so they have taken a path that is anti-societal norms. So for us to make progress is not to come out and characterize. This young man is not doing what the Boko Haram are doing in the Northeast. He's calling out his people to say, look, we are marginalized. Look, when you push a people to the world, when they return, anything can happen. And that is what is happening in the Southeast. So for a governor, he should be able to look for better ways to handle this issue than to come out to characterize this set of people as terrorists. He's not doing it. Will not help. It will not help his cause, except he's looking for political relevance. It will not help his cause. There should be a forum. There should be a forum where the politicians themselves should take responsibility first. The Southeast politicians.
He's not talking about Nnamdi Kanu. He's talking about Simon Ekpa.
Yeah,
they are two different.
Yes, they are all fallout of the failed system. Whatever way you look at it.
Are you aware of some of the activities of Simon Ekpa?
I am very much aware, which are not in line with what is the norms, which are against the Constitution. Quite agree with you. But these are fallout of the failed system. So when we are talking about, we should look at an holistic way of solving this problem, and not to just pick somebody and say this person is a terrorist. I am not speaking in favor or in support of what Samuel Ekpe is doing. Not at all. But for us to have solution to these problems, we should look at it from a holistic point of view. Nothing, accepting the responsibility that the state have failed. That is what created these opportunities. So what do we do from here? How do we reorganize ourselves? How do we put things together so that we can curtail? It's only when you have done your part, you cannot say, okay, this person is doing what is wrong. But when you have failed on your part and you're pointing fingers to others, I don't subscribe to that. And I don't think the governor is taking the right step by characterizing this way, because it will not solve the problem, because there are people who followed these people or this particular person.
Right. We'll still get back to some of the concerns you raised, but then let me hear from George.
Okay, I think the primary responsibility of the government is the protection of lives and property. And it is on that premise that the governor is speaking the way he's speaking, calling Simon Ekpa a criminal and all of that. I understand his position, Well, like my brother here rightly stated, it is the lack, the deprivation, and all whatnot that the Nigerian government and its officials have meted to the citizens that has led some people into doing what they were doing, what they are doing today. So for me, I would have suggested, political solution to resolving this issue that has appeared intractable for a long time now. Instead of, inflaming or stoking the fire, why not call for a political solution? Let's resolve this matter. What is the issue? As much as, like I said, the primary position or responsibility of the government is to protect life and property. No governor, no president will sit idly and see his state burn. The oath of allegiance and oath of office, he will never for anything give that away for anybody, even if the person is, the symbol of it. He will make sure he protect that. But this thing has lingered for too long and is affecting the Southeast economy. It's affecting the Nigerian economy. People are dying every day. How do we resolve this? For me, I would suggest the politicals. I have been saying it. I was on air here in your studio, and I said it some time ago when somebody paid Buhari visit, asking him for help to reach out to President Tinubu and all of that. Political solution, including Nnamdi Kanu, not just some Medapa who has not been repatriated, who is in Finland, ordering his boys to do one or two. Call for a dialogue. Let's sit down on a round table and discuss. It's a give and take thing. You shift ground, I shift ground, we'll come to a compromise somewhere. And you see that this whole thing will become history. That is how I'm looking at it. For too long, we have tried the legal system on how to resolving this matter because Nnamdi Kanu is incarcerated. It has not worked. The boys continue to do what they are doing. How can a whole region, would declare one full day, sit at home? The economy will be grounded.
Not
completely.
just one full day. It's so they sit at home. Sometimes extends to weeks. They sit at home.
So you can
usually,
imagine what the people
yes,
are losing.
sometimes it will extend to 2 weeks. Sometimes it will extend to 1 week. Initially it started with, okay, Nnamdi Kanu will go to court today, so everybody will sit at home in solidarity.
Okay.
Now,
and they saw that it works.
From there, they now started extending
progress,
it,
yes.
right? And from there, at some point, it was clear that it was just flexing power. The fact that probably was enjoying the fact that I can ground all the southeastern states for a week, and that includes no school. You can't access hospital. You can't come outside. There was a time the governor of Anambra State said people should go to work. I mean, schools should open, markets. These boys entered the streets and the market and shot some persons. In Imo State, for example, markets has been burnt. People have been killed. Now, this has exacerbated to a point that IPOB is different. But now, they have ESN. Imo State, for example, they have Umuoma. And then Governor Ozodinma now has his own people, Ebube Dike or something. Ebubago. Now, what's going on in Imo State is Umuoma kills Ebubago, Ebubago kills Umuoma. ESN is part of it. Now, nobody is even talking about IPOB. Now, it's a tug of war and who are suffering? The people are suffering, right? It has even affected business outside Imo State because people traveling, you would agree
come
with
down
me.
to the state,
people coming from the east,
and also goods move to other side of the
go through Asaba, through Ihiala,
regions of the
and
country.
go through Imo State before you can continue with your journey. Now, on days like that, you cannot travel. You see how it has affected the economy of the state, of these southeastern states, how it has affected education, how it has affected health. People have died in their homes because they could not access medical care
facilities
because of sit at home. Now the question is, because Governor Peter Mba, regardless, has made a very salient point. The question is, if you so care about your people, if you're saying you're fighting for them in their interest, why punish them?
Choma, okay.
Let me say something.
Okay.
Choma, what Peter Mba is doing, the governor, like I said, is just to protect the oath he has taken, the oath of allegiance to the state an oath of office as the chief executive of the state, the security officer of the state, to ensure that there's security. But even if you repatriate Simon Ekpa,
it doesn't end the problem.
And today,
another Simon Ekpa will emerge.
You just said something happening down there. Different groups have taken advantage of the situation and begin to perpetrate criminality. Would that solve the problem?
It won't.
The only thing that government listens to is violence. Without violence, government will not listen. It happened here in Niger Delta. People tried to do some peaceful protest, but when that armed struggle of 2003 happened,
they responded.
They responded immediately. Unfortunately, we are still back to where we are. But the truth about the matter is that the government listened. So for me, one of the ways to resolving this thing is a political solution, calling for meeting. Okay, can we even set up like we have Northeast Development, whatever, Niger Delta Development? Can we even have something for Southeast that will rebuild some of those areas that have been
Yes, there's something, the
These are some of the things that the government can give us, that will, ameliorate some of the challenges. And if someone like that continues to do, and the government need to fish out the criminals.
Yes.
Remember,
from these people. Genuine. Yes.
Genuine agitators.
Yes.
There are criminals. Government need to use the instrumentality of force to fish out those criminals and deal with them according to the law. Then the genuine agitators, you call them and see how you can set up something to pacify the people. If the people say we have been marginalized for some time, other regions have at least 6 or 7 states. Our regions have 5. I hear they are trying to create one. National Assembly is working on creating one state.
There are so many bills right now for Southeast.
So what I'm saying is these are some things that will, pacify the people, so that the people will feel that sense of belonging, as part of the Nigerian Federation, instead of calling for repatriation. Because if you can
address the agitation,
it doesn't stop the Bubinechaga, whatever you call them, those criminals who are there.
Speaking of political solution, very quickly. Speaking of political solution, you agree with me that there have been calls from different quarters, speaking to the president to use his good office to consider political situation with regards to the case of Nnamdi Kanu and by extension the agitation of the IPOB. Now, the question would be, from the body language of the presidency, do you see political solution happening? Now, Sunday Igboho, immediately the president became the president of the Republic of Nigeria. Sunday Igboho Igboho came back to Nigeria. There was a political solution to his matter, as well as the Mieti Allah president, who was in prison facing charges of terrorism, as it were. He was also discharged and acquitted. I can go on to mention other cases of political solution that have been offered to people. Why is Nnamdi Kanu's case different?
Well, Shoma, I agree with my colleague first and foremost that, in fact, political solution is the only way now, because so many solutions have been tried. Legal, remember there was a time they have moved the Nigerian military into the south, and all those things did not work. Okay? So again, there's something you need to understand with regards to Samuel. Non-state actors usually does not use conventional means in pursuing their ideology. So that is why you could see.
You mean Simon Ekpa?
Yes, that's sorry, it's as non-state actors. They usually do not use conventional means, and that is why their actions are always, there is a reaction from the government. Like he said, that is what government listing. Now, coming to political solution, I don't know. With regards to the Igbo people and the Nigerian state, some of us have some reservation that we don't know if we say they may not be popular, in the public. But I think the Nigerian states have not treated the Igbo region or people as a people. The Nigerian state have not been fair to this set of people. And that's where the issue of political solution. And is the Nigerian state ready to give political solution to this problem?
Do you think so? That's the question.
As far as the Igbo, yes. As far as the Igbo people are concerned, imagine the last election. An opportunity. I felt that was an opportunity to reincorporate, to reassure, to bring back the Igbo people back to the mainstream of the Nigerian state. By giving an opportunity to fly tickets, you see how they were frustrated in parties, political parties. At the end of the day, this is where we are. Now, if you can release people in other regions who are also doing things like this, like the Western region people are doing, why do you stop these people? So these are the questions. The Nigerian state should be able to have an open mind, and that's what democracy, give room for. Open mind. Every person, any person from any region can become whatever, and the time of that person will complete, and then we'll not judge that person based on his performance. So we should look at and have an open mind for the Igbo issue, for the Igbo crisis, and come up to introduce a political solution. Call these people to a round table, and that also begins with the political leaders in the southeast. It's not just going to be the federal government. The Southeast political leaders, those who are holding political offices, should also show that commitment, that they are ready to stand for their people. They are ready to speak for their people. And when they go to Abuja to that round table, they should be interested in their people and not their interest. Not when something is brought to the table to say, take and leave that and then forget about the people. That is the way we should go. Political solution is possible if the Nigerian state is willing.
All right. But in your opinion, like I asked, do you think the Nigerian state is willing? Have you seen through the body language?
No. To be frank with you, we have not seen that in the body language, because several attempts have been made. Some leaders in the Igbo have also visited the presidency, they have visited the former president, and we have not seen a corresponding response, to those meetings or those calls. So, as it were now, the Nigerian state is not, the body language of the Nigerian state is not showing that, but that is the way to go. We should have an open mind. We should treat these people and also in the project of Nigeria. The Igbo people, I believe, are willing, very willing to participate in the Nigerian project and contribute their quota. And that would be the Nigerian state recognizing them and treating them as citizens of this country.
All right. We'll go on a short break. When we come back, we'll look at State Congress. PDP seeks peace among crises in Rivers and other states. Do not go away.
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are under siege.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act and call for the immediate release of this minister in the Temple of Justice.
Give us access to our money we put in the bank.
POS operator, she said 3,000 is 1,000 to collect 3,000 naira. Where are we heading to?
I've always said there are two sets of people on earth, the oppressors and the oppressed. And in between are the cowards and the hypocrites. Which are you?
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians need now is not about the turn thing. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on-the-spot news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and
Corruption not in my country.
Driver, why you just dey jack us up and down like this now?
I hope nobody carry belle.
Why you ask o?
Because this road where they see so, it no guarantee safe delivery.
We just dey vote for government, but we not get good governance.
At all.
Roads so no dey, light usa, the infrastructure e come turn to be forbidden fruit for the city.
Corruption, well everything.
Hello?
Hello, madam. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Mrs. Ayeni. I am calling from the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs.
Okay. Okay, I've been expecting your call.
Madam, remove this your phone from loudspeaker.
No vex, now my phone be like that. Hello?
Are you there?
I hear, I'm hearing you.
Yes. We saw a copy of your invoice for computers, printers, and laptops.
Yes. Are you working on them now?
Ma, the prices you quoted are way too high now.
Madam, sorry, please don't cost.
We found the laptop you said is 1.8 million naira for 600,000 naira.
Hello?
Now my body network there?
I can't hear you. Network is bad.
Madam, we can hear you. Continue.
Hello, I can't hear you. We call you back.
That behavior not good now.
Madam, now this kind behavior they kill our country. You suppose do things differently, make Nigeria for better.
Corruption not in my country.
This message is brought to you by the Akin Fadayi Foundation, the MacArthur Foundation,
and with broadcast support from Atlantic Television.
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are under siege.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act and call for the immediate release of this minister in the Temple of Justice.
Give us access to our money we put in the bank.
POS operator, she said 3,000 naira is 1,000 to collect 3,000 naira. Where are we heading to?
I've always said there are two sets of people on earth, the oppressors and the oppressed.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Before we went on a break, we were looking at the issues around Southeast agitation and the governor of Enugu State called to repatriate Simon Ekpa. Now, very quickly, George, you wanted to say something to that.
Well, my position has always been that the people of the Southeast are marginalized. When it comes to creation of state, you see that other regions have at least 6, some do have 7, but the Southeast have 5. So to balance some of those things, a state needs to be created out of this. Then I also think that the people of the Igbo people, the people of Southeast, have contributed immensely to nation building when it comes to the economy and different sectors of the economy. They have people who have contributed to building Nigeria. So even though I know that power is not given, political office is not given, you fight for it, you work for it, you get it. I believe that it is right time for Igbo man to ascend, that's exalted position of the presidency, to see if it will kind of down some of the tension we are seeing. If they have someone, maybe they will believe that our brother there, everything has balanced. Because for now, since after the Civil War, no Igbo man has ascended that presidency. So it is the ordinary people and the political actors are taking advantage of it to incite the ordinary people that the Igbos are not liked. They are hated in Nigeria. That is why they have not been given that leadership position. So if power is to be given, I would suggest that the woman is given the presidency, and I believe that will help to down these agitations of we want to and things like that. So that's my take on it.
All right. People's Democratic Party has urged its members nationwide to maintain peace in the build-up to the state congresses, which are scheduled to commence with the World Congresses on July 23rd. A senior member of the PDP National Working Committee, who requested anonymity due to lack of authorization to speak publicly, revealed that the party is grappling with a formidable challenge as the upcoming congresses have exacerbated the crisis in the state chapters. Recall that there was already a court order preventing the party from proceeding with the upcoming Congress in Rivers State, and the ongoing turmoil in several states complicates the commencement of the process. He stated, "The congresses will start on July 27 across the country. We will begin with world congresses followed by local government congresses on August 26, and then the state congresses in September. We have challenges in some states. These states include Kebbi, Kaduna, Katsina, Rivers, Ekiti, among others. The party is mindful and does not want to go into these congresses with this crisis. So we are doing everything within our power and reach to resolve all these issues." So let me start with you. Do you think that PDP so far has done their best to resolve disputes among warring factions across the states?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so because the party itself does not observe internal democratic processes. They don't enforce the laws they've set for themselves to guide them as a political party. And so they allow individual will, individual interests to prevail on issues that has to do with the collective interests of the party. And as long as they toe that path, they will continue to have crisis. So I'm not surprised that they have these issues with respect to their forthcoming congresses.
All right. George, what is your take?
Well, like they rightly said, there are some states that has this crisis, and they wouldn't want to go into that Congress when the crisis is on, but it will affect the chances of the party. There is nothing wrong in calling for resolution of some of these issues. A roundtable discussion. Like what I already said here, sometimes the party move towards the whims and caprices of one strong man who runs the show in the party. So sometimes it can affect the overall output and all of that. So I feel that the party, like the state they mentioned, especially River State as a case study, the matter is even before the courts. The matter before the courts, stopping the Congress. So they should call all the warring factions to the one time. Let's have a discussion. Everything is not about going to court and stalling the process. Sometimes you do give and take. Let's discuss this matter. What is your grounds? And you discuss. You take this, I take this, and we resolve the matter. We'll move on. We'll forge a common front. If you don't do that, the PDP in the state may have some kind of challenges. So I think the national body should, wade into this matter, take it so seriously, set up a committee to look into the matter, resolve the matter before the due date for Congress.
All right, fair enough. Special Advisor to President Bola Tinubu on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, has warned those behind the planned nationwide protest to be very careful because he may not predict what could be the end of such action. Recall that Mr. Onanuga had accused supporters of the Labour Party presidential candidate in the 2023 elections, Mr. Peter Obi, of being behind the planned protest. Although he acknowledged the fact that it is the right of people to protest in a democracy, those behind it should be careful so that it will not be hijacked by people who will use the opportunity to cause problems. Explaining more on his post on his X handle when he accused Peter Obi supporters of the planned protest, he told correspondents on the phone, "My post is just to highlight that the people who are organizing this so-called nationwide protest are members of Labour Party. They are Peter Obi's supporters. So that's my own take of it. It's my opinion, so I'm not going to say more than this." So nobody is saying you must not protest. Protest is legitimate in the democracy. The concern of the people is that when you start a protest and it is not well managed, the end cannot be predicted, just like people could not predict the end of EndSARS. So that's just the concern of people. And again, when you are saying revolution now, do they know the meaning of revolution now? Revolution means you are calling for a coup d'etat. That's the meaning of it, and that's the point that I'm making. Nothing more than that. So anybody can protest. It's within their rights to protest. Nobody says you should not protest. Further asked if he has any evidence to prove that it's supporters of Peter Obi that are planning the protest, he said, "Check their handles and see what they are posting. Just follow what they have been posting. What I did was to do content analysis of these people that are posting as a journalist." Let me ask you, Mr. George, what do you think is the implication of this statement by Bayo, the presidential spokesperson?
I want to align with the man to understand, not by accusing the obedience of the mastermind or the planners of the protest. I want to dissociate, from that.
Okay.
But on the issue of the protest, that we do not know the outcome, what it will lead to, I agree with that. Criminals will always take advantage of some of all these things. And because you do not have the wherewithal, you do not have the security, connect to stop these criminals, something you feel that is, you think that is just normal protest, which is their legitimate right to do, people will take advantage of it. I'm not against protesting, but would you be able to hold these people accountable? Because by the time it starts, by the time they keep raging, people will even deviate from the normal route to other things and take advantage of that to perpetuate evil. So if they cannot, manage that, then the state will definitely breach heavily on them. and by then it becomes bloody.
All right. Zoe, what is your take?
Well, quickly, I want to say that they should just let P2B be. Because if you observe the trend of the government since they came into power, they've been looking for a way to indict this man, to arrest him. And that's what this kind of statement is tilting to. P2B should, in fact, be given an award after the 2023 presidential election for being democratic in his approach. He has been democratic in his words and his actions. Now, granted, he has supporters who go the extra mile, who go out of the box to create some issues. But P2B as a person, even though I'm not his supporter or follower, I have applauded his approach to the politics. He has been able to tolerate, he has been able to, imbibe democratic culture in his approach to the politics of the day. Now, having said that, the spokesperson also mentioned, define, what do you call it, revolution.
Revolution.
Yes, as a coup d'etat, taking over power. He should do more of his research. Revolution goes beyond what he's thinking.
Right.
And again, if we are even, granted, let's go by his words. There is a common saying that if you allow peaceful change impossible, you're going to make violent change inevitable. That is where we are as a nation. Because look at it, they will always use the issue of criminals will overtake it, criminals will, infiltrate and do. That is the excuse they give. But will you allow, take for example in South Africa, the government of the day allowed revolution in the last election, a peaceful revolution. The people of South Africa said, look, we're fed up with what you're doing, the ANC. And they expressed, they went on revolution through the ballot box and they expressed their desires. And you saw how it turned the democratic process in South Africa to the extent that the ANC, after 30 years, could not form government. To the extent that they have to, form an alliance with a party that they totally disagree in ideology. That is how democratic process is supposed to go. But in a country where the democratic process is being stifled by few individuals, where elections are being rigged to impose people in power, and then when those people come into power, they impose policies that brings hardship on the people, where you have a liter of fuel for 810 naira this morning, where you have transport has skyrocketed from where you pay 200 naira, you pay 400, 600 naira now. Almost everything in a cup of beans, a tomato, that small tomato cup of beans, as of last Friday in the market, is 500 naira. And you are telling people not to protest? That is just, look, he should, thank God he said he's a researcher, he did his analysis. He should also do his analysis on how the Nigerian people are faring. This is not about emotion. These are the realities on ground. And you can't stop people from protesting if that is the route they need to get the government attention. And you cannot reduce a nationwide protest to one single individual who is doing his own thing. That is quite unfair. But protests, they will see if they don't help to turn things around in this country. Now,
he raised concerns about people hijacking the protest, and he made reference to NSAS.
It is in fact, it is even the government people that usually, we have been on the street, we know how this thing works. It is the government people who usually hijack the protest. They will bring in their people and try to create a situation where they will say, hoodlums and criminals, and then they bring in their military, but they are just creating a situation they cannot handle. They should not forget NSAS.
I want to say something. It is not enough for the government to begin to dissuade people from legitimately protesting. In as much as I agree that criminals can infiltrate, whether sponsored by the government or not, there are people just hanging, waiting for opportunity to pounce, whether sponsored or not. The government should realize, like my brother said, things are so difficult for everybody, including them that is the government. They should look for policies that will ameliorate the sufferings of the people. Now, without some of all these things, discuss with even those who are planning this protest. If organized body like NS, what are the challenges? If it is the issue of minimum wage, can we increase this based on this? there are some discussions you put in place. There are some policies you will announce. People will say, okay, there is genuineness in what we are doing. Let's give them, that benefit of the doubt. I'm talking about from the government, not just by sitting back and say people should not protest. People will definitely protest, and criminals will take advantage, and the government.
So why not you avoid it? So why not you avoid it?
So what I'm saying is the government should not just sit back in their high horse and feel that everything is okay. Address the issue. Address the issue. What are their demands? Because before now they would have been making some demand. Bad governance, this, that. In what area? How do we strengthen this and that? Talk to the people. I wouldn't want Nigeria to go the way of Kenya. I would not want that. We all love peace. I don't want it.
Right. P2B Media Reach has cried out over what it described as wild, wicked and baseless allegations. But why not one of the spokespersons in the presidency, Bayo Onanuga, accusing the Labour Party's presidential candidate in the 2023 elections, P2B, of being the mastermind of a planned protest in the country. Onanuga, in a statement, said Obi should be held responsible for any mayhem that may occur in the protest. But in a statement signed by Yunusa Tanko, P2B Media Reach spokesman, the group said it can report from good and reliable authority that the unsubstantiated allegations are being orchestrated to arrest Obi, limit his freedom, and stop his propagation for good governance. The group said that P2B, by his mien in and out of political office, has not in any way shown or been associated with violence, even in the face of the most obvious provocations. Zoe, what is your take on this?
It's just what I've said.
Yes, that was what I context. Because now they are saying that the government is trying to frame P2B. Now, recently, you will remember the issue of the senator that was removed as the chief whip, Alain Dume,
yes,
for coming out to criticize the presidency. If you recall, P2B has been very vocal in not just critiquing, but also proffering solutions. He has played a very vital role, an advisory role, when it comes to government policies that he doesn't agree with. He will state his reasons for not agreeing with those policies, and he will also profile solutions that he feels may work if, implemented. But then, is this painting the government as if the government cannot stand criticism?
Of course, you can see, even in their own house, they could not accept dissenting voice like they did with Alain Dume, even in within their cycle, not to talk of an external. But like I said, we must give P2B credit. All that you have said about him, even though I am not in support of P2B, because as far as I'm concerned, everyone who have been in political office one way or the other since 1999 till the last election is part and parcel of what we are going through. No person can tell me to exonerate any person. However, P2B have stand out in his democratic process. His utterances, his body language, the way he critique government. Like you said, he comes up with a critique and then profile solution. I think the government, if they are smart and want to be fair to all, they should give P2B an award for the way he has conducted himself democratically, rather than calling him names. Like I said before, you even read this reaction from his camp. They are doing, from what I saw, what the government are doing is to reduce the public appearance of P2B, maybe restrict him one way or the other to paint him bad. But there's one thing you need to know. Somebody, once people have accepted somebody in their hearts, not in their brain or what they can get, once people have accepted somebody in their hearts, there is little you can do to change their mind, like what is happening to Donald Trump in the US. So P2B have been accepted by those obedient people in their heart. So whatever way they want to paint P2B, it will not work as far as those people are concerned. And to reduce a nationwide strike that is being warranted by government action, by government unleashing hardship on the people of Nigeria, Now, look at the labor. Labor is asking for, see, there are so many opportunities open for the government to reduce, to prevent this nationwide strike. Like my colleague here said, the issue of labor. Labor have been asking for increment in, you're increasing everything in the market except the workers' pay. Who does that? How can the people survive? So they have the route of negotiating with the labor. Of course, the protests, they have a demand about 15-point agenda. One of it is minimum wage of 250,000. That even is not realistic. With the, see, we move from 140
70,000.
It doesn't make sense. We move from 145 naira a liter of fuel to 810 naira. How can you resolve that?
830 naira.
830 naira. How can you resolve that? And it's now cut across. The repercussion, the implication is that it now skyrocketed the price of things. A seed of tomato, just a seed of tomato, is 250 naira in the market. Egg. An egg for 50 naira is now about 200, 300 naira in the market. And you're telling somebody to take 70,000 naira home. Will that be enough for his transport for the month to go to work? So these are the issues. They should leave P2B alone and face the government they impose themselves on Nigerian people and govern the people. If they don't do that, the people will come for their government. They can't stop it. It's going, it's everywhere around the world, even in Europe. It's everywhere. People are beginning to be conscious enough to rise and ask questions from their government, demand accountability from their government. That is where we are. It's not about P2B. They have already started. This is how they do. The next thing they say, oh, so criminals have taken up. So this is how they do. The protests have not started. They're already implicating P2B. Please leave P2B alone and face your government.
All right. What do you have to say to this, George?
Well, it's quite shocking, that the presidential spokesman will begin at this. Would I say that he's
preempting?
Into making some kind of statement that will lead to, that will connect him with
to his arrest, yes.
Because I see no reason why someone who has been on his own, if I am a leader and people you call my supporters, not as if you have any registered or signed document to show that they're supporting me, are doing their things, they want to rope me in. How? So I feel that this is just a preemptive statement that will, trigger P2B, that may trigger P2B to make a statement and incite on one, and before they link him up. But beyond that, I have said it here. One of the best ways that the government can use to resolving this matter, most Nigerians like their life. Attend to the issues. Government may not have all the money to pay the minimum wage of 250,000.
But be realistic.
You can increase this thing to say, like,
but be realistic.
That they said, okay, 70 from now, that we can review in 3 years' time. These are propositions.
Be realistic.
We discuss this matter, and you see that Nigerians ordinarily like, to enjoy their life. How many Nigerians will want to come out on the rain and the sun to protest against what? But people are hungry. People are dying on a daily basis. People are dying. Things are so tough. The major challenge that the government had was the removal of fuel subsidy without making provision for provision, for it. You can't move fuel subsidy that everything is tied down to that. Transportation from one point to another is tied to that. People fueling their cars is tied to that. People fueling their generator
because there is no NEPA lights.
Even the basic things that you see that people keep asking, how does this connect to fuel subsidy? I said they pay transport to move this thing from their farm to this place. So they will also factor in that money.
Transportation.
And once they factor in that money,
the price increase.
The prices will increase. And wages has remained constant. So what do you expect? So it's quite tough. The government should understand. Fix the refinery as quick as possible. Even if you're not producing to export to other countries, fix the one that we can use, we can consume locally here. It will, drop down the price of fuel. And once that happens, you see that prices will normalize. Some persons are in this world, they are not, they are not moved by excessive materialism. They don't want to own skyscrapers.
Just survive. Just to survive. Nigerians just want to survive.
Now, if I may ask, would you say from the statements of the state actors now, let me not just limit it to the presidency or the president as he were, but let's look at the actions and the utterances of the state actors so far. Let's start with Senator the Senate President, Akpabio. You recall recently, in the last plenary they had, Senator Kingibe of the FCT moved the motion, and her prayer was that the market that was burnt down, that it be rebuilt, that the government should rebuild it and subsidize it for the people who were affected. And Senator Akpabio, in response, asked that, made the rubbish of that prayer. And his reason was that, are they expecting the government to build structures like that and then not get anything in return and all of that? And he said that for him, it's not that prayer. It's not well put. It's not in order. It's not in line. And another female senator stood up and seconded the motion, the prayer of Senator Kingibe, and she said that the money you're talking about, when she was addressing Senator Akpabio, she said the money you're talking about is the people's money. It is the taxpayers' money. The government, the money the government is earning is the money from the people. So why can't the government use the money, people's money, to build something for the benefits of the same people? I mean, you're giving their money back to them for their own benefits. And after she said that, she said, I'm seconding that motion, right? Now, the question would be, the politicians in question, these state actors, from their body language, from their utterances, are they even helping the situation? That would be the question. Are they even making moves or saying things that would douse the anger of the people? Let's periscope the Senate, They receive constituency allowance. If you recall, Senator Nengi's issue with regards to the budget pardon opened a lot of things. You recall the Senate representing, I think, Delta State, came out to say, Ned Nwoko came out to say that he receives over £1 billion in constituency projects. Some receive 500 million. As the case may be, he defended his own, that is because he's a ranking senator. Now, these people are getting hundreds of millions in constituency projects. No form of accountability. Why people are pressuring the presidency? Why are people not pressuring the Senate? What are they doing with monies entrusted to them to trickle down to their constituencies?
I think it is the responsibility of the government, the presidency, based on the system of government we operate, to checkmate some of all these things. Because the presidency is the one that implements through all these anti-graft agencies. They will direct them on what to do. So if you are giving constituency project to Senator A or House of Rep member A, and the person has failed to deliver that project, pocketed that money, it is the presidency to know that this project did not go and called. In fact, the FCC, as part of the presidency, is supposed to move to know those who have executed or not and bring them to book. Well, please, let me go back to what you were saying about the senator representing Abuja, Senator
Kingibe, yes.
And
the statement of Akpabio.
Let's situate this thing properly. Is she asking the Senate to rebuild or the federal government to rebuild?
The federal government.
We are talking about market here. Building of market is the responsibility of the local government. All these things are situated. You are asking federal government to come and build markets. It is not within their. It is not within their responsibility to do that. It is that of the local government. In Abuja, they have area councils. So if a market is burnt, one of the area councils where this thing happens should be able to rebuild those markets. Or maybe the FCT minister can do that. Not for the federal government to come and rebuild markets.
The question would be, Kingibe herself has constituency project allocated to her, doesn't she?
Maybe the constituency project is not about rebuilding the market.
Maybe the market doesn't fall into
yes, that one. The market is the responsibility of local government. We have what they call it, the exclusive list, the concurrent list, and the residual list. Residual is for the local government. Concurrent is for both state and the federal government, and exclusive is just for the federal government. Building of market is the residue is for the local government. So if your call, except is a special intervention from the federal government, given the fact that where this thing happen could be in Abuja, please, maybe the local council area do not have the wherewithal, the funding for now. Abuja is not a state. Maybe the minister has not seen it, deemed it necessary to do. Please, federal government intervene to help, because she's like the mouthpiece of the people which she's representing. So she's in the opportunity to call the Senate. Maybe that could be the reason why
Akpabio did not fault her based on that. Akpabio faulted her prayer in the sense that he said, why would the government build and subsidize? Like, should the government be doing free things for people? That's the angle I am coming from. The statement of Akpabio, right? Even though probably, like you said, it should fall under the local government councils, as it were. But the statement of the Senate president, who you would expect is also representing a constituency and should feel the pain of the people. You would wonder, should the Senate president be making statements like that at this point in time?
I copy what you're saying, and that is one angle that some of our leaders are not doing well. They are not showing responsibility. Even though you're doing what you're doing, you should understand what the people are passing through and show that compassion. Because that you are privileged to be who you are today does not mean that you couldn't have been in this other side. And if you have been in this other side and suffering what the people are suffering, you would have understood better. So some of them are on their high horses. They are no longer seeing what is happening, at the lower level. That is why they make such kind of utterances. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate, and I keep praying every day that Nigeria should not go the way of the Arab Spring. Because if anything happened to this country...
Are you praying for that?
No, I'm not praying that Nigeria should go that way. I'm praying that everything should be resolved amicably. Because if anything happened to Nigeria, even West Africa will not be able to contain. People will definitely move to survive. And imagine like 20 million of Nigeria, entering Ghana. That government will collapse.
Right.
No government, no country within the West African region that has the capacity to contain what will happen from there. So I keep praying the leaders should be responsible. They should be alive to their responsibility and ensure that things are put the way they should be, so that Nigeria will move forward.
All right, Zoe.
Okay, what took us to this level is the P2B accusation. Yes, I want to also add to the spokesperson to the president that he should also analyze the constitution and know that P2B is a citizen of Nigeria, and by virtue of that, he has rights to expression, and also a presidential candidate of a political party, which automatically gives him the opportunity to be an opposition, to play the opposition role, which he is doing. So you should also note that. Then coming to Akpabio, it's unfortunate. I don't like talking about the president, with due respect, as the Senate president. But I want to say that Akpabio, to some extent, has disappointed Nigerians. As far as he is concerned, I think he is there just to serve the interests of the president. Akpabio cannot, what she's demanding, in my understanding, is an intervention. Yes, local government, market fall under the purview of local government, but there is a crisis. Probably the council cannot handle at that material time. Nothing stops the federal government, especially in the Federal Capital Territory, which is managed, they don't have a governor, which is managed by the federal government by itself. So there can be an intervention. And she went on to add that it can be subsidized, which means the government can build it and reduce it, and then the people can, Akpabio is good. Okay, he cannot spend government money in building a bond market to help the citizens, but he can send prayers to senators' emails. That is the situation we are. This is why, my brother, I'm sorry I'm not joining you in that prayer that we shouldn't go that path. That is the only path. See, our Nigerian leaders, they don't care. Do you know how many people in your neighborhood, you agree with me, how many people that comes to you for just food to eat in their houses? You see many of the children now on the streets. Just last week alone, I accosted 3 children. Why are you not in school? We are writing junior WAEC. My parents cannot pay for it. And they're on the streets. And these people are living in affluence. Their children are outside this country. My brother, let's not pray that prayer. I don't pray God should answer that prayer. We should take our destiny in our hands. And that's why every Nigeria must come out in this protest. We're not calling for violence, but we are calling for a peaceful protest to engage our government, to listen to our demands.
All right.
That is what we are calling for. So it's unfortunate. The Senate president will continue to play that role of just serving the interest of the president rather than the people. By virtue of becoming the Senate president, the entire Nigeria is now his constituency. So whatever happens in any constituency should be his concern. And if that woman could bring such a problem to his notice, he should have used wisdom. Even if it is not the responsibility of the federal government, he should have used wisdom rather than to make the people that suffer that thing to feel that their government is not responsible to their interests.
All right. Thank you so much, Zoe, for coming on Open Air. It's a pleasure having you. And thank you so much, George. It's a pleasure having you. Zoe, it will get better. You need to cheer up. It will get better. And this is where we wrap it up on this episode of Open Air. We are open for adverse placements, bookings and commercials. You can connect with us on all our ATN socials: Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network; Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1; and on Twitter, Atlantic TV Net. Watch us live on our website, www.atlanticnetwork.tv. Do not forget, peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Thank you for watching. I am Ogu Laurentia Choma. See you same time tomorrow. Bye for now.
Representing people. Mr. President, my people are under siege.
I will place economic stability and confidence.
To condemn this act and call for the immediate release of this minister in the Temple of Justice.
Give us access to our money we put in the bank. POS operator, she said 3,000 naira is 1,000 to collect 3,000 naira. Where are we heading to?
I've always said there are two sets of people on earth: the oppressors and the oppressed. And in between are the cowards and the hypocrites. Which are you?
No matter how tough the challenge, how high the obstacles, we always overcome.
What Nigerians need now is not about the daunting. Who can come and salvage us from where we are?
From